few months ago, a Titanic escape simulator game was announced with a trailer and teased to be coming to PlayStation and even ended up on the PlayStation Store. Despite the fact that the entire trailer is fake and made completely with AI. I have no idea how that happened, but we're going to go over that trailer today. Before we start though, I do just want to mention that this video was exclusive to Patreon and YouTube members that has since gone public now. So here's an updated version. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see y'all.
Yeah, so a few weeks ago, this video right here released by Be Weird Gaming, and it's a Titanic escape simulator trailer, and it's odd because almost the entire trailer, like everything, is made with AI. I can't quite tell if the entire trailer is, but at least like almost all of it is. But besides that, it's supposed to be an escape simulator, but there's so much historically wrong with this video that it's kind of insane. Even in the thumbnail, there's a lot wrong here. For example, like it was a moonless night, the waves were really calm, the Titanic, it's probably a little bit too high of a tilt for the Titanic. There's a lot wrong. And I was going to leave this video alone because, I mean, who cares? It's a fake video game, right? But it keeps popping up on my Facebook. I'm really fascinated and interested in the Titanic story and what happened and the survivors and what they went through, as well as those who perished. And to make something like this is just totally slop and totally desecrates what those individuals went through. It's quite crazy. And I'm okay with games like this, like showing what happened. But, I mean, there's no heart or soul put into this. Like the most insane thing about all this, though, is that it's actually on the PlayStation Store. If you scroll up, Titanic Escape Simulator in 2026 has been announced. Like this got verified by PlayStation, and so I don't really understand. There's the description here: April 14th, 1912. You retire to your cabin aboard the majestic RMS Titanic. Hours later, you're jolted awake by an ominous shudder. The unsinkable has met the impossible. The ship was never claimed to have been unsinkable. This is a misunderstanding and an exaggeration on history. I believe there was one news article by the White Star Line company. I think that's the name of the company that made it. And they said it's as sinkable as we can make it, but it was never claimed to be the unsinkable ship. And I think the Titanic movie kind of elevated that. There's even something here for key features. This is something you would never have. A lifeboat decision system. This should never be in any. What does that even mean? Experience the chaos and moral complexity of the evacuation with limited resources and difficult choices. We'll come back to that. Living, breathing Titanic. Period. Authentic details. Totally wrong. It's not authentic at all. Dynamic flooding system. I mean, that's not too hard to make these days, even if it was real. Physical survival challenges. Force jammed doors, clear debris, climb through tilting corridor. This is just like, I mean, it's just an Uncharted game, right? But it's being called a physical survival challenges. Hypothermia mechanics. Battle the deadly cold, requiring strategic planning and resource management. How are you going to resource manage in the middle of the ocean? What do you mean? Oh my gosh. Branching escape routes. I mean, that makes sense. Emotional narrative. That would make sense. The lifeboat decision system. Do you have what it takes to survive the most famous shipwreck in history? Or will you become another claimed soul by the icy depths? The clock is ticking. The water is rising. Let's just get into the video and we could break down what is wrong with this exactly, because it doesn't make sense. Okay, already you can tell it's already very smudgy, and these characters are AI as well. Like you can see by the way they move, his hand disappears. Look at this. So yeah, I mean, this is AI. So this shot's AI. It's completely fake. Let's move on to the next one. We're going to play a little game here. See if we can identify if every single shot in this is AI or not. As far as the ship goes, I don't notice any immediate details that's totally wrong. There's like random wires that don't go to anything, of course. But as far as like the actual ship, but I know that the smokestacks, whatever they're called, were yellow, not red. All the times in AI, it makes it red. I know the ship is black and white, and the rails look correct. This is not on the ship. This is to the side of the ship. So that's some more AI shenanigans. Let's keep going. All right, here's another AI shot because it has a really crazy filter on here. It's like a reverse fisheye lens. Again, more AI. You can tell the characters don't have faces because it's AI and it can't make consistent faces for this video. So again, another AI shot. I don't even know if any part of the grand staircase even looks like this. This is the part that up here, I think this is supposed to be what everyone knows from the movie, but that's not even correct. Yes. Okay, so we got another AI shot. Oh my goodness. This entire thing is totally fake. First off, this text here, that doesn't say Titanic. That's AI gibberish. Also, the smoke is going out to what I would believe would be the south. It's going over to the left of the ship. But the ship is moving forward, so that smoke should be going back, but it's not. So there's that. It's got some nice detail, like some water on the side of the ship or whatever. So again, some more AI shenanigans where none of this stuff is actually like straight or anything. And it's even got a different art style. Like this smoke does not fit the rest of the game. So it's even blending art directions in a single shot. Unfortunately, this is not real because you could totally make this and it would look better than this in real life. And it wouldn't be that difficult. I think there's probably plenty of accurate enough Titanic exteriors to get a shot like this in Unreal Engine and it not be that difficult. You could probably do it in a day or two. You can also tell by the way the smoke is flowing out that it is just AI. That's AI smoke 100%. So these interior static shots, you can't tell quite as easily if they are AI or not, although they certainly are if the rest of the video is. But this looks a lot more consistent and clean. There's probably some shenanigans you could tell further down, but I don't really see anything like totally telling. I don't know if the ship looked like this on the inside. I'm not actually too familiar with the interior of the ship. I have a feeling it didn't look quite like this. This is a bit ornate. Also, there's no room to fit here anyway, so I guarantee you the ship didn't look like this. This was a bit of a luxurious ship, although it did undersell its first voyage by an insane amount, and they actually had bought passengers from other ships in order to fill out the ship a bit more. Yeah, there's not room to fit here. And so this is not what the room would have been like at all. There's no chance. Okay, so we have another shot with some more people in it. None of these scream AI, although except for the characters move a bit odd. So that would be what you would look for. This railing, though, is totally wrong. This is not the Titanic railing. This tries to be like some kind of ornate shape, and the Titanic its railing is very famous and easy to tell what it looks like, and this is not it. And so this is another situation that's wrong. Another thing you could look at is all these lines. I don't know where they connected at or anything. There's several Titanic YouTubers and creators that you could look at who can explain the historical accuracy of this ship. I'm not really the one to do that. Again, I'm not an enthusiast Titanic person, but I am kind of invested into the story. We do have some AI shenanigan up here as well. So again, like the whole video is AI. And now the wood, something I've noticed is that AI can do hard surface pretty well, at least in like small circumstances. Like you can check the normal maps on this shot here. Normal maps being how light reacts to things. So this can be a flat mesh, but it looks like it has all these divots in the texture because the texture is telling light how to respond to it. So you can get stuff like this. We have some out of focus hands. The hands are out of focus all the time in this video, and I don't really understand why. I'm curious if it's done on purpose to hide imperfections with AI hands. I'm not totally sure, but I mean, this is like a nice aesthetic shot. At least like you could use this for a pitch and it would be a good shot to include. Okay, so I do just want to mention that there was no female who was in the violin crew. I don't remember the names of the people who it did actually play in the ensemble, the quartet, the night of the sinking. They're very famous people, and you can get pictures of them. I have an assumption that these are not them, especially this lovely lady right here. Are they actually holding the violins correctly? Well, he's resting inside of his stomach, so I would assume that's probably not the optimal way to play. Okay, this is a very serious issue with the game. First off, the Titanic phrasing is not on the side anymore. I don't know what happened to it. You should still be able to see it even at night. Secondly, smoke is going to the right. That's all fine, whatever. The biggest issue with this right now is this right here. The Titanic sank on a very near new moon phase. Is it a waning crescent? I may have the name wrong, but it was a day or two before the new moon phase. It was considered a moonless night. That's what's always documented. It was not a full moon. And this is important because the phase of the moon is one of the contributors to the sinking of the Titanic. Now, you can sail a new moon and darkness, and that's not the most unexpected thing, but this is just one of the issues. It did make it darker and harder to see. Whereas you have a bright, full moon shining into the area, you will be able to see any dangerous hazards that may be approaching. So it was dark, so that's one thing. And this is another super egregious thing. So it's very bright. The iceberg did not look this bright at all. You can see the moonlight shining onto the deck. Again, the moonlight was non-existent that night. There was also something called a water mirage happening. And what this is it's a type of mirage that makes it look like at sea you have miles of visibility when you actually have very poor visibility. And so it made it very difficult for the crew to see the iceberg while they were under the impression that they had very good visibility. So it gave them a false sense of safety, for one. There's all these different theories about how the watchmen didn't do a good job and underperformed, and that's why the ship hit the iceberg. That's not the case. There's the talks of how the one person who was taken off the ship's crew list right before shipping, he took the key with them on accident, so they didn't have access to binoculars. Binoculars would not have helped that night, and so this should not be this bright. It is a very dark. It would have been very dark and silhouetted, and very difficult to spot, regardless. And this, if it had been this visible, they never would have hit the iceberg. Not a single chance. They would have seen it quite a while ago, and so yeah. The waves are a bit calm, so that's kind of what you want to see. It was a very calm night on the actual ocean. The ship never encountered weather like this during its voyage to New York. Not at all. And also the ship isn't really moving up and down as it goes in that hazardous water. It's mostly staying pretty static. Here it acts like it hits the iceberg. There was almost no one on deck when the iceberg hit the ship. There may have been a few people, but most people were asleep by this time because it hit it at 11:40 p.m. at night on the 14th. I think it technically sank 2 hours and 40 minutes later on the 15th. So this is, and then it turns to water. Like this is so AI, you couldn't even make it up, right? Like it turns from ice to water, and as well as the faces. Now the main problem I have with all this AI is that so many people are talking about how this has some of the best visuals they've ever seen in a game, and they don't understand why people can't make games that look like this. This game looks horrible. Like if you freeze it for 1 second, again, it's just some fuzzy hands that are blurred out on purpose to hide bad details of the game. The hands are also static. I'm curious if this is... they are moving up and down, but is that just a PNG that's moving up and down? Yeah, there's no other movement in there, so that one's just totally fake. We do have the grand staircase area, I'm assuming, flooding and the characters walking through it. There's no interaction on the water, and his hands are going up and down. This shot's whatever. This shot, that's AI water for sure, 100%. Again, we all know what this AI stuff looks like. It was made like 2 years ago, though. It's not that accurate. And watch his hand. Oh yeah, that looks horrible. Okay, I see why they blurred it. But his hands, first off, a couple things. First off, his hands are moving really weird. And secondly, he's really short. You should not be that short. It's like the character is squatting and running at the same time. So it's just totally awkward. Again, a full moon night. It was not a full moon when the ship wrecked. If you're going to make a Titanic escape simulator, you need to make it at least somewhat accurate. It doesn't have to be 100%. No one's going to expect that. We don't even know 100% how everything went down, but we know that it was not a full moon. Okay, we know what phase of the moon it was the night that it happened. It's very easy to figure that out. So yeah, it's just quite disappointing. There's no one in this lifeboat except for the character. Didn't it say, experience the chaos and moral complexity of the evacuation with limited resources? There's no one on this boat. What do you mean? Now, the Titanic launched 18 of the 20 boats as far as like being lowered into the water. I think the first 2 were like half full, and that's because it was launched very early and they were trying to keep chaos down or whatever. The rest, I believe, were full or mostly full. And then there were, I may have this part wrong, but I believe 2 of the lifeboats were pushed into the water and then people got in. I may have that detail slightly wrong, but I believe that's right. I believe it's 20 lifeboats that the ship had. Oh, this is horrible. The deck was never on fire, ever on the Titanic. Now we do know. Also, these may have supposed to have been fallen off. I don't know. But we know that there was a coal fire inside of the ship during its sailing, and that was like not the most uncommon thing. It was happened enough to where they knew how to neutralize it, and they continued shipping or continued sailing, and all that went well. And they actually extinguished that fire the day before the sinking. And so you hear all the time that this coal fire led to the Titanic disaster. That didn't actually happen. There's no evidence for that, really. The hands are not blurred here, and there's some weird juddering of the bones right here, so that's a little awkward. Also, the boat isn't bouncing up and down. This is a different. Wait a second. This is not what the lifeboats look like, is it? That's not what the lifeboats look like. First off, there's not enough rows, but secondly, I don't think they look like that. I don't know. And this is a totally different boat as well. But yeah, there was no fire on the ship. Again, smokestacks are still going. I don't think the smokestacks would have been going at this point. The engines were shut off well before this. There should have still been power, so that's correct. The ship lost power almost right when the ship cracked in half. That's the time that most people believe that the ship actually did lose power. Okay, so this is wrong. Again, the full moon, the waves are too wavy. It shouldn't have been like that at all. The ship has not cracked yet because first off, it's missing a smokestack. That's pretty important. The smokestacks are still releasing smoke. The ship should be braking between here or here, depending on where the forestack is, whether it be here or over here. It's probably too high of an angle at this point to where it should be braking. It's believed that the ship reached a max rotation angle of like 23-ish degrees out of the water before it snapped. Is this also the front of the boat? I don't think so. I think it's just AI shenanigans. Yeah, this should be the front of the boat. But this is just a PNG almost, where it's kind of like moving. Now, the angle of the ship, I believe it did tilt to the side like 5 degrees. You see it's just sinking. It should be cracking almost immediately, but it was just going straight down. And Titanic Escape Simulator. Again, it's just so weird that this game is on the PlayStation Store when every single shot of it is AI and fake. I don't understand. Now, it's made by this random person here, so there probably is no actual game. It's just, I don't understand how you can get verified on the PlayStation Store with something like this, where every single thing is a fake. And the game is fake. Like, it doesn't make sense. Yeah, we'll see. I think this game is never coming out because it doesn't actually exist. And if it does exist, it's going to be a pretty bad game because there is no game. Toy Story 2 reassembled is more real than this escape simulator. So now that we actually saw the whole video, let's go back through here one more time. Living, breathing Titanic, dynamic flooding system, physical survival challenges, the hypothermia mechanics. You never saw him really enter the water at all. He was in the water in the grand staircase shot, and that is it. Branching escape routes, again, that makes sense. Emotional narrative. The thing about emotional narrative here, I would be really curious to see if it uses real people or not. It gets a bit touchy there because you're like, well, you should, have those real people in the game, but you also don't want to make them all be AI, generic dialogue or something. Like they would have like genuine emotion. So you would have to do a lot of research to make those people sound like themselves in order to not be a desecration to them. And this lifeboat decision system, I don't understand. I don't know. Anyways, there you go. The game is obviously fake. It shouldn't exist. There's no reason for it to exist. Let me know what you think about this. Should it be made into a real thing? There are YouTube game devs who are making Titanic games on YouTube, and they're not releasing them or anything. They're just doing like fun little experiments to show what a Titanic game could look like, and it's like actually being made. There's some where they build out the whole ship, and that's really cool. Again, the only reason I made this is because so many people seem to talk about how this game looks incredible, and they don't understand how this kind of game can't be made more often. Anyways, that's all I got today. So thank y'all so much for watching. If you want to see any videos early, make sure you join my Patreon or become a YouTube member. Anyways, thank y'all so much for watching, and y'all take care now.